Champion hurdle time, and what happens when you lose the 4-11 favourite? You have the favourite, the second favourite, and the third favourite in the race anyway. So it's not really a problem for Willie Mullins, is it? Speaking of changing the guard, Nicky Henderson's going to have 5 in this race, and Mullins will still have the first 3 in the betting. Annie Power is the quandary. I think from discussing earlier, we're all in agreement she's likely to run in this race.
Yeah.
And what can beat her, Bill?
Not much. I think she'll win. I think she's the most likely winner. The market suggests she is, but I like her a lot. I've always felt that she was a champion hurdle, or should have run the champion hurdle before this year. They had the option of the world hurdle. I don't think she stays 3 miles. She could have gone and wronged her right by winning the mare's hurdle, which she probably would have won that.
Please remind me what happened.
But it wouldn't have told us anything about Annie Power. The one thing for Annie Power with me is that she's a mare and she gets a £7 mare's allowance. She's borderline top rated in this. I can't remember what the rating of 162 is she or something, but she gets a £7 allowance, which is massive. And I think it also, the other thing to eliminate is the freshness and the keenness. It doesn't matter. She can run with as much fizz or whatever they want to call it as she likes. If she goes from the front, I think she's fundamentally probably a better horse than the likes of Arctic Fire. And I think she's the one she's got to beat. I mean, when the news broke last week about Faheen not running, I thought she'd be shorter. I think sometimes with 3s, and I thought she'd be shorter. I really did. And I think she's the one to beat.
I remember sat in a room with you when Graham Cunningham said to Ritchie, when it was announced that she was going to run in the mares, that he said, "You'll die not knowing, Rich."
Yeah.
So hopefully he's still alive. Yeah, not too much cloudy bay. We're going to get to find out if she is good enough to win a champion hurdle, because there's a lot of horses in there. I mean, Arctic Fire, 7-2 second favourite, doesn't win a lot for a horse of its ability. I think it's won 4 of 19 or something like that. She'll never have a better opportunity, will she, Tanya?
Well, Annie Power won't. Annie Power will not, because you've got Arctic Fire, as you said, a veteran of 11 Grade 1 races, Arctic Fire has. But, of course, within them, he's been taking on Hurricane Fly, he's been running in champion hurdles. He's sort of placed in 7, but he has won 1, which was the Hatton's Grace. But after that, the experiment in 3 miles failed dismally. I mean, it was
really running on strongly at the death, wasn't he, last year?
Yeah.
Faheen got all the right up. It was amazing the ground he caught up in the last 50 yards.
And then Faheen's last time we saw Faheen showed you why the Annie Power ought to win this, because you needed, well, I didn't know whether they needed to find radar to find Nichols Canyon, and Arctic Fire was sort of
in between the radar and
labouring. He was definitely labouring.
So then what you're left with Tent, my Tent or yours, who we haven't seen for a couple of years, Peace and Co, who won't settle, Identity Thief, who, fair play to him, has won a fighting 5th, but you are scratching around and finding reasons why Annie Power can't win, and as Bill sort of highlighted, this mare's allowance as well. I know she hasn't taken on the boys for a couple of years, and I know we haven't seen her since May 2015 until the other day when she won at 20 on, but there she is, and she arrives in the champion hurdle's favourite chance.
Did you take the 20 on, Claude?
No, I didn't. I tell you one thing I did.
You've lost your bottle.
I tell you one thing I did do.
Well, not bottle, probably the worst euphemism.
The after Identity Thief won the fighting 5th, he was 32 to 1 for the champion hurdle that day, and I did have a bit of that. So I'm hoping that obviously Faheen out of the race makes things easier for all the others. Henry de Bromhead, I saw being interviewed on television the other day, and he was getting very excited about it all. And obviously,
your bet or the horse?
Well, no, I think he's getting excited about the horse, and there were probably excuses when he got beaten in that Ryanair hurdle over Christmas. But I'd far rather be sitting with my 32 to 1 voucher than diving in there to have 9 to 4 on Annie Power, remembering exactly what happened a year ago at the festival.
Well, if we're talking excuses and we're forgiving 1 run, if you forgive Nichols Canyon 1 run, okay, just 1 run, what is that? 2s rather than 5s?
Yeah.
You know, third in the Neptune, he won at 8G, beat Faheen early in the season, and then bombed out last time. I think you could say 5 to 1, and 5 to 1 each way could be a massive price, Nichols Canyon.
Of course, the one we haven't mentioned, the forgotten horse, is the new one.
Yeah.
I mean, he ran pretty well, didn't he, to win in that bog up at Haydock. Nigel Tristan Davis said afterwards that he'd never seen the horse jump better. He's been unlucky. We know all the hard luck stories, etc., etc. But it wouldn't surprise me that if he wasn't there, banging at the last to come charging up the hill and make a challenge.
And he also brings Cheltenham form to
Yeah.
the table, because the unique course that is Cheltenham, we're talking about a horse like Nichols Canyon, didn't really fire at Cheltenham last year. Arctic Fire twice has run really well at Cheltenham. That's in the Arctic Fire's. That's the pluses next to him. You know, I think he was second in a county hurdle, second in a champion hurdle, loves the better ground. Arctic Fire, I think, is the biggest danger to Any Power.
So are we going to find 4 different horses again? I must admit, I don't have a strong fancy in this race at all. I think it's wide open. Quite looking forward to being a bookmaker in it, to be perfectly honest. Shekel each way, Nichols Canyon at 5 would be my selection. Tanya?
I'm like you, I haven't got really a strong opinion in the race. I think, in a way, the Lady Luckos, both Any Power and the new one, both they're owed. They've got something to collect. However, when Claude said Identity Thief, Henry de Bromhead said he dares to dream even before the fighting fifth, and now he can dream and won the fighting fifth. But if I had to make a selection here, I'd have to go with Any Power. Yeah. Just because of his allowance.
I do have a strong view. I think Any Power will win. I think she will win easily. I think she'll be a really impressive winner.
Okay, cool.
I was actually in a box last year when a professional footballer wanted to have 10,000 to win on Any Power. And somebody said to him, you wanted to have 5,000 each way, and somebody said, no, she's going to be odds on. That's far better to have it on the nose. And he said, no, well, if she's second, then I sort of get some back. No, I'm going to have 5,000 each way. And I thought to myself, when Ruby Walsh went to the deck, I thought, I'd just like to see that footballer's face now, because...
When he can see that 10 grand in your pocket, obviously you laid it, being the monster player that you are.
So I can't forget what happened last time, so I'd rather stick with my little double carpet on Identity Thief.
I don't think any of us will ever forget what happened last time. It was the most remarkable thing on the racecourse in history. But right, that's the champion hurdle, all done and dusted. We'll see you there in the ring on the day.